The story begins with a hook. There are moments in life that split your world into before and after. For 10-year-old Emily, that moment happened on a cold October morning when she walked into school with a swollen black eye, clutching her backpack strapped so tightly her knuckles turned white. Most kids looked away, some whispered, and teachers quietly sighed, but Emily kept walking, carrying a pain far heavier than anyone could see. No one expected that by the end of the week, her life would collide with a group of men feared by an entire town, yet destined to become her greatest protectors. Backhand index pointing right. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for those who can't stand for themselves, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps stories like this reach more hearts. Emily had already learned to move through life quietly, the way a person tiptoes across broken glass. Her stepfather, Rick, was the kind of man who hid cruelty behind a beer bottle and a lazy smile that fooled outsiders. At home, Emily grew used to the slamming doors, shouting voices, and the heavy dread of waiting for his mood to swing. Her mother, exhausted and trapped in a cycle she couldn't break, did what she could, but Emily still faced the worst of it. The newest bruise, dark, swollen, and warm to the touch, was a reminder of the night before, when Rick blamed her for a misplaced receipt and lashed out before stumbling away. That morning at school, she tried to disappear. But the universe had a different plan. During lunch, she sat alone on a bench near the parking lot playground, staring at the ground. That's when she heard the deep growl of engines. They didn't belong to a school bus or a parent's car. This sound was louder, heavier, like thunder rolling in slow motion. She looked up and saw motorcycles, huge, chrome-lined beasts, pulling into the lot. The leather jackets, the patches, the skulls, everyone whispered the same name, Hell's Angels. They were there to escort one boy from school for a charity ride, part of a local fundraiser. Teachers watched with stiff worry, students backed away, but Emily didn't feel fear. She felt curiosity. And then an ache of wanting. These men looked strong, confident, unshakable, everything she never had in her own home. When one of the riders, a gray-bearded giant of a man named Bear, removed his helmet, Emily felt something strange. Not fear, but safety. A quiet safety she had never known. She watched him talk gently to a young boy in a wheelchair, lifting him onto a custom sidecar like he was made of glass. Something inside Emily cracked open, something she had held shut for years. Without thinking, her feet moved on their own, carrying her toward them. Bear noticed her first. His eyes fell instantly on the bruise. He didn't ask, didn't stare, didn't make her feel small. He simply knelt a little, bringing his massive frame closer to her trembling one. And in a voice deep but soft, he asked if she was all right. That tiny question, those 4 words, broke what little strength she had left. Tears slipped out, silent but raw. Emily tried to wipe them away, but Bear gently shook his head and placed a hand on her shoulder, not touching the bruise, only the space beside it, giving her the dignity of not pointing it out. In a trembling whisper the size of a heartbeat, she said the words she had never dared to say aloud, "Can you be my dad?" Bear froze, not in shock, but in heartbreak. The other bikers turned, their faces hardening in ways that could shatter stone. Emily had no idea what kind of weight her words carried, but those men felt it like a punch to the chest. Bear asked her quietly what happened. She hesitated, her voice too cracked to speak, but the truth was written all over her face. You didn't need words for pain that deep. Bear didn't push. Instead, he told her something simple, that she was brave. Braver than she knew. He promised he would be back, not to scare her, not to cause trouble, but to make sure she knew she wasn't alone. No one at school believed him, but he kept his promise. The next morning, when students filed into the courtyard, the ground vibrated. Teachers rushed outside. Kids pressed their faces to the windows. One by one, like a formation of steel and thunder, motorcycles pulled into the parking lot. Not 3. Not 5. 27 Hell's Angels, they came for Emily. Bear stood at the front, arms crossed, eyes steady. When Emily stepped out of the building and saw them, her breath caught in her throat. For the first time in her life, someone had shown up for her. 27 men who didn't know her, didn't owe her, and had nothing to gain, yet they came. They escorted her into the counselor's office, not with aggression, but with a firm insistence that she be heard. They didn't storm the school or make wild threats. They simply made it clear, this little girl had a voice, and today, someone was going to listen to it. The Biker Brotherhood worked closely with the school, police liaisons, and local child protective officers. The truth finally unfolded. Years of abuse, fear, silence. Emily was placed into safe supervision immediately. Her stepfather was removed from the home pending investigation. Her mother, broken but relieved, finally received the support she needed to get free. The system that had overlooked her finally opened its eyes, but the greatest change happened inside Emily. Over the weeks, the bikers visited regularly, teaching her about confidence, boundaries, and strength. They told her she wasn't weak for surviving, she was powerful. They attended her school events, sat in the crowd during her talent show, and cheered louder than anyone. And when someone asked who those men were, Emily said with a shy, growing smile, "They're my friends. They take care of me." And they always would. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it, and subscribe. It truly helps us continue telling stories that matter. Speech balloon special request. Comment below with, "Protect every child, if you believe no child should ever feel alone." In the end, Emily didn't gain one dad. She gained an entire army. A brotherhood of protectors who taught her that family isn't always blood. Sometimes, it's the people who show up on roaring engines on the day you need them most, and never leave your side again.